I have a problem with the apparent disconnect between what many theists claim to believe and their actions, which seem to indicate otherwise. For example, it is almost inherent to Christian and Islamic doctrine to believe that non believers will suffer eternal punishment in hell after death. After all, if Jesus didn't sacrifice himself to open heaven to all who believe in him, then the religion loses almost all relevance. If there's no punishment for refusing to believe in Allah, then there's no reason not to be a Muslim. Yet, you rarely hear of these people at funerals for atheists or people of other faiths discussing the fact that the deceased is now burning in hell for all eternity. All you ever hear is how they were a wonderful person and maybe even hope that they're now in heaven thanks to God's mercy. Sure, sometimes people own their faith and come right out and say it. A few have done exactly that after the death of Robin Williams, such as Rush Limbaugh, although I doubt his sincerity. He'll just say anything for attention and money, really. Or Cheryl Merrill, who blogs at cherylkicksass.blogspot.com. Now, many others have been citing a blog post on the website creationsciencestudy.wordpress.com, but after looking over that site, I've concluded that it is satirical. But that's only in the interest of accuracy. The fact remains that some theists do indeed own their beliefs. One example that I like to bring up with Christians when discussing this is that of Pat Tillman, the former NFL player who served in Afghanistan and who was killed by friendly fire. Christians love to hold Tillman up as a great example of selfishness, as he forewent a lucrative football career in order to serve his country and ended up giving his life in the process. However, Tillman was an open atheist, and you rarely hear that part discussed by Christians. I like to challenge Christians to tell me that Pat Tillman is burning forever in hell right now. However, the reason that so many theists do not own their beliefs on hell is because they understand that they end up looking like Westboro Baptists, for example, which is almost universally despised for their opinions and tactics. But they can't have it both ways. You either think that non-believers go to hell and that being a Christian or Muslim is the only way to salvation, or you don't. And if you admit that you need not ascribe to a particular religion to avoid eternal punishment or earn eternal bliss, then there's no reason to ascribe to such religions. Now, beyond belief in hell, theists frequently fail to own their beliefs in other areas. For example, why do some churches have lightning rods on them? Or why do churches have insurance policies at all? Won't your faith in God protect you? Why do some private Christian schools support the right for teachers to carry firearms in the classroom if taking God out of schools is the reason for school shootings? If God can heal your sickness, then why do the overwhelming majority of theists opt for medical treatment when they have a disease or infection or if they require surgery? Now, the Bible says that those who believe and have faith can handle deadly snakes or drink poison and come out unharmed. Yet almost none of them do this, and when they do, they end up dead like snake-handling preacher Jamie Coots. Then the typical apologies come out claiming that he just didn't have enough faith to survive. Speaking of which, the Bible also says that with enough faith, people can literally move mountains. And yet there has never been a single documented occurrence of such a thing happening. That's odd. Now, don't get me wrong, I much prefer the behavior of moderate Christians and Muslims, but the fact remains that such a refusal to embrace what you actually believe is cowardly and dishonest. So if you're not comfortable with openly expressing what you claim to believe, you should probably reconsider your beliefs. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourself in order to save face. There's a reason that the Bible says that faith without works is dead, and that reason is because faith and prayer have zero effect on outcomes. Indeed, 2 hands working can do more than 1,000 clasped in prayer. So theists, I challenge you to shit or get off the pot. Own your faith or discard it for the rubbish that it is. I am Prototype Atheist. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with anyone else you think would be interested, and subscribe to my channel for future updates. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/prototypeatheist and on Twitter at protoatheist.